How are you doing, everybody? Jonathan here, and in this video I'm going to talk about the beef that apparently is brewing between the NSCA and CrossFit. Apparently even certifying authorities cannot get along. So in a recent story that came out I believe yesterday, CrossFit is issuing a defamation suit against NSCA because the NSCA released an article in their journal where 54 subjects were put through a CrossFit program. Now, out of those 54 subjects, 11 people dropped out, 2 of them saying because of time concerns, and according to the NSCA publication of the journal, the other 9 left because of overuse, injuries, or injuries sustained by CrossFit workouts. And CrossFit sees this as an attempt to discredit the validity of the CrossFit brand, thereby putting weakness in the CrossFit certification, which was just announced a couple of weeks ago. I'll put a link to that video that I just put out not too long ago. And so CrossFit is up in arms that the NSCA has gone out of their way to discredit them. Despite the fact that the NSCA in the previous month or in that same month had released an article citing that injuries in CrossFit are no more prevalent than the injuries that you find in Olympic lifting, Olympic weightlifting as a sport, or gymnastics as a sport, and that those are 2 main components of a CrossFit workout, and that CrossFit workouts cause no more injuries than rugby. So CrossFit is up in arms that NSCA is talking about CrossFit in their publication. However, now you have to understand, I'm certified by the NSCA, and I also have the CrossFit Level 1 certificate. So I think both of them are great. I've done reviews on both of them, and you can see reviews as to why you would do one or the other or both. I personally don't regret having both, but this is really a money thing. The one thing that made me kind of laugh a little bit was, well, CrossFit, I understand, they're the new kid on the block, and they're very popular, and they're getting a lot of the attention. But they have to understand, at least from my perspective, this seems more of a retaliation than an attack from the NSCA. As somebody that went through the CrossFit Level 1 cert, went through the training guide, in the PDF, I was surprised to find in the reading material that on page 16, on page 18 out of the 118-page PDF document, they cite the NSCA. They talk about the NSCA, and they mention the NSCA's inability or lack of attempt to even define fitness. And on page 18, they talked about the NSCA's inability to equate fitness with health. So it's not like CrossFit has not crossed paths with the NSCA before. And my assumption is that somebody higher up in the NSCA kind of saw that, and that might have been a little bit of a catalyst for this assertion that the CrossFit workouts are perhaps unsafe, despite the fact that earlier in the month they had said that the CrossFit workouts were no more dangerous than the workout routines that CrossFit tends to lend itself from. Now, CrossFit's assertion for the NSCA and the ACSM, they drag the ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine. That's kind of the gold standard of personal training certifications. CrossFit's assertion is that the NSCA and the ACSM holds too tightly to traditional methods of exercise, and basically they're saying that they're closed-minded. And essentially, the NSCA is saying that CrossFit is like, a kid that's, drunk with power, all right? Kind of doing things unsafely or whatever, or at least that's what they're alluding to with this study. In my opinion, however, this is happening because CrossFit is, I mentioned when I did the video on the CrossFit certification that's recently been released, that, if I opened up a gym that said Jonathan Strength and Conditioning, owned and operated by Jonathan Hurdless CSCS, that would not get as much attention, that would not cause as much of a stir, I wouldn't get as much business as if I just started a Jonathan Hurdless CrossFit, all right? And I think NSCA may be a little bit, I don't want to, let's use the words for this case, threatened by CrossFit, as I believe CrossFit is most likely to take trainers away from that specific cert, the NSCA, as opposed to an ACE or a NASM or an AFA. I think if a trainer was to get certified by AFA, they usually are looking to get into group training. The NASM tends to spend a lot more time in their literature on assessments, and I think that's like the thing that makes NASM. ACE is kind of like a baseline certification, but the NSCA, from what I've studied out of all 4 certifications, is the only cert that really goes into strength and conditioning, that goes into Olympic lifting in more depth. You really don't see that at all in the ACE certification, and I don't think you see that at all in the NASM certification. So I think the CrossFit is the biggest threat right now to NSCA, and NSCA is really just trying to stay ahead of the curve. Now, as far as I see things, they've both kind of taken their shots. None that I feel that would be so damaging that that would deter anybody from getting the certification. I think the NSCA certification is great, and I have the CPT certification. I'm studying for the CSCS. I think the CrossFit certification is great. I think the CrossFit certification is made better when you already have the NSCA Certified Personal Training certification, and perhaps I'll get CrossFit cert so I can see if it provides that base knowledge that I think might be lacking if you just have a CrossFit Level 1 cert. But do I think the lawsuit will stand? Listen, in terms of hurting business, not many people, lay people, read the NSCA journal, so it's not going to hurt a box owner's numbers. If anything, it's really just to deter people from getting the CrossFit cert, or maybe to think twice about it. But because it's such a profitable, it turns out a profit much quicker, I think, than would a NSCA, let's say CPT cert, because that's what I have, on its own, that they're just trying to level the playing field. I think it's a good thing that NSCA and the ACSM kind of sticks to traditional modes of exercise and the status quo, however CrossFit wants to put it, because I don't think exercise needs to change that much. And in terms of the base knowledge that you need about the body in order to excel in anything like a CrossFit or any kind of sport, I think that is necessary. Also, it helps you to train the person, the lay person that hasn't been an athlete all their life, to progress them up to where they're doing exercises that have a steeper learning curve, that require more mobility, that require more strength. Now, what is included in the Level 2 cert and the personal training certification from CrossFit is yet to be seen or experienced by me, but I think both can exist. I think both should exist. I think that getting the NSCA certification made me a better CrossFitter, and I think getting the CrossFit certification just opened my mind up to more ways to look at exercise. I think they both have their merits, but I want to know what you think. How do you feel about CrossFit? Are you just sick of it already? I personally like it, even though I don't do it all year round. I actually spend less time of the year doing CrossFit than I do any other portion of exercise, but I do think that it's fun, and I do think that it can be effective. Are you sick of CrossFit? Do you think that it's great? Do you think the NSCA has a leg on this? Do you think the NSCA went too far in making this assertion, as CrossFit says that this was sloppily done? Just let me know your thoughts. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, comment below. I'll include the link to the story of CrossFit suing the NSCA. I'm not sure if I can include a link to the PDF of the CrossFit training guide because CrossFit owns that, but if I can legally, I'll include it below. Other than that, stay tuned. I'll keep you posted with more videos. I just got my equipment for a new camera and a new mic, so the quality is going to get a little bit better. But as always, remember to eat healthy, hydrate, drive safe. Stress levels don't get rest, don't stop anybody. Love your clients, they will love you back. I will see you all tomorrow or the next day, and you have a